Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Wednesday, the 1st of September, the beginning of spring. Today we're reading 1 Samuel chapter 25. There was a rich man, Nabal, who had great wealth, and he was shearing his sheep, a time of celebration. His shepherds had grazed the sheep near David and his men, and David and his men had essentially protected them. So during the shearing time, David sends some men to him and says, "You're celebrating, share some of your blessings with us." Nabal says, "Who's this David character? I'll have nothing to do with him. Go away." And he sends them off empty-handed. David and his men arm themselves and head down to sort Nabal out. One of the servants goes to Nabal's wife, Abigail, and tells her what has happened, and she acts. From verse 18, and Abigail acted quickly. She took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 dressed sheep, 5 seahs of roasted grain, 100 cakes of raisins, 200 cakes of pressed figs, and loaded them on donkeys. Then she told her servants, "Go ahead, I'll follow you." But she did not tell her husband Nabal. So she gets all the stuff, doesn't tell Nabal what's going on, and off she goes. She meets David on his way and says to him, "Please be understanding. Don't go and shed blood. That's the last thing you want to do. Here's all these gifts. Please take them." Nabal was basically an idiot. His Nabal means fool. He acted foolishly. So don't avenge yourself. David recognizes the wisdom of what she's saying. And he says to her, verse 32, David said to Abigail, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you to me today. May you be blessed for your good judgment and for keeping me from bloodshed this day and from avenging myself with my own hands." Two things struck me. The one is, here you have Abigail, married to Nabal, acting decisively, clearly, and autonomously. She is not subject to Nabal. She is not an oppressed woman. She is a strong individual with way more wisdom than her foolish husband has, and she averts disaster. One wonders what the impact of what she did long-term was. How would David's kingship and kingdom have been different had he gone and shed blood and avenged himself? It may well have had a very different tenor to his kingship. And Abigail heads that off. So here is a woman acting independently, acting decisively, acting strongly, changing history. We need to recognize there are plenty of them in the Bible. We tend to overlook it because of patriarchy in the church and history, but they're there. We just need our eyes open. So one thing. The second thing was, she was just acting wisely. She heard the story, thought, here comes a disaster. What can I do? Quickly, let me gather a whole lot of stuff, sort it out, which she did. David sees this as saying that God sent you. She hadn't prayed. She hadn't waited on God. But David sees the hand of God in what she did. And we need to recognize that God is with us all the time. So even when we're just acting with common sense, logic, and plain everyday, normal decision-making, God can be working in us and through us in that. So know that our common sense, God uses that. And who knows, like with Abigail, he might shape history as well. Be encouraged by that and know his blessing.